in his car, you can see over the river or the ferry, and into the depths of Black Forest with all the trout farms. It was just
I picked them up. I picked them up whilst I was dropping them home.